Hey, beautiful. I'm gonna go straight into this because there is a way too much happening here to give you short surface level reading, okay? So, this person that we're going to talk about does not seem to experience attraction towards you in a quiet, reasonable, or neatly organized way. See, there is something almost inconvenient about how strongly you register in their mind. Like, see, they can be functioning normally, having a completely ordinary day, dealing with work, responsibilities, conversations, whatever, and then something reminds them of you, and suddenly their entire internal atmosphere like changes immediately. See, it can literally be something stupidly small, like your love, maybe the way you look at someone when you already know what they are about to say, the way you carry yourself, your attitude, like when somebody tries to challenge you and they don't like simply notice you, they retain you. All right. And that is the first thing I want you to understand. And this person, like you have become memorable to them. Okay. Yes. Like, see, not merely attractive, not merely desirable, but I'm talking about here memorable. How? Because there is an almost animalistic quality to the attraction here. See, they don't always intellectualize it before feeling it, like their body reacts before their brain has finished constructing an explanation. They can catch sight of you and immediately become more alert, more attentive, more physically conscious of where you are. See, it is instinctive. Like that's why like I'm getting this feeling that they can be perfectly composed 1 second and then suddenly become very aware of you like standing nearby. And honestly, I think you sometimes underestimate how much your presence affects them because, like, you are looking at yourself through your own eyes. Like, right? So they're looking at you from the outside. So they see the entire combination, the attitude, the face, the mannerisms, the strength, and the little imperfections that somehow make the whole thing more compelling. And there is something about that combination that they consider almost unfair. Like they genuinely may have thought at some point, like, how can one person be this attractive and this difficult to ignore? Because this isn't only physical. Like your personality, one of the biggest hooks, like your baddest side is one of the attraction. They don't want you watered down. See, they don't want some artificially agreeable version of you who smiles politely and never changes anybody. They are fascinated. But what? By what? By the fact that you have your own mind. You can be soft, but you are not weak. You can be affectionate, but you are not desperate. You can give someone attention and just as easily return to your own world. That independence is what messing with them. Okay? And they admire your strength. Yes, they admire your strength like more than you realize. There's something they have observed about the way you handle difficult situations. Perhaps even the way you keep moving when something has disappointed you, maybe they may not always know what you have been through internally, but they can recognize resilience. And that makes the attraction deeper because they aren't simply looking at someone beautiful. They are looking at someone they respect. And respect is dangerous when attraction is already this strong. Because once desire and admiration start mixing, the person stops being a casual crush. They become what? They become the person you start imagining inside your life. And that's where this reading gets interesting. I'm getting this very strong, like I want to introduce you to my family energy, as you can see. Okay, that's what I'm getting here. They truly want to like make future plans with you. Okay, they already want to introduce you to their family. This is what is going on in their head. It's a feeling, it's a desire. And no, like, see, I don't necessarily mean that they have already planned a wedding tomorrow morning. Okay, it's like this thought is going on in their head. But there is something about the way they picture you that is surprisingly serious. And they don't only imagine private moments with you, they can imagine you standing beside them in environments where the people closest to them can see you. That's significant because someone can be attracted to you and still keep you inside a fantasy category. This person seems to be struggling with the boundary between fantasy and reality because they have these private thoughts that are intensely personal, and then every once in a while, something in them switches and they start thinking that wait, why? why couldn't this actually become something more permanent, something like forever? Why can't it become like that? And that is the unexpected shift. Like something changes, whether it's a conversation, a confession, an invitation, a sudden opportunity, a moment where one of you stops pretending the situation is casual. The connection has been sitting like in a strange middle ground. And I don't think it stays there forever. It's not gonna stay there forever. Because there is a person here who has already like self-sabotaged something. That is very important. They may have delayed, they may have overthought, they may have acted colder than they actually felt. Okay. They may have convinced themselves that approaching you was a bad idea. They might have created distance because the attraction itself made them feel like be more exposed. And I want to make this very clear, like their hesitation does not equal lack of interest. In fact, I think their hesitation came partly because they were interested enough for it to matter. When somebody does not care, they usually don't need to perform emotional gymnastics. This person does. They can talk themselves out of approaching you, then spend the next several hours thinking about you anyway. And they can tell themselves, like, I'm not going to do anything. And then they notice every tiny opportunity to be around you. Like they can decide they're going to act normal and then become hyper aware of your reactions. So it's almost like ridiculous, isn't it? Like they're fighting themselves, okay? And one of the things they may be fighting is the fear of rejection, okay? Yes. And because you are not giving off an energy of someone who can be easily manipulated, you would notice inconsistencies and you would notice somebody pretending. You would notice if their words and behavior didn't match, and that intimidates them. Okay, and this person does not want to look foolish in front of you. Definitely not. They want to look capable. They want to impress you. They want you to see them as someone worthy of being chosen. That's why I am loving this message about a sincere offer coming here. Okay, yes, I'm truly seeing something here. See, a sincere offer is coming. This message is something that's telling me that it's a huge offer. It's going to be massive. Because underneath all the sexual tension, underneath the teasing, underneath the possessiveness, there is actually something much more grounded trying to emerge. A real offer. Not merely come here, I miss you. No, not that type of. Something that communicates intention. Something that says, I want to take this somewhere. My intentions are serious. I want to see us both together somewhere in the future. You are in my future plans. That type of. And I don't think the physical attraction disappears when the serious side comes forward. It's like quite the opposite. And this person is extremely physically attracted to you. You can already see that what they're thinking about you. See, they want every single night with you. Okay, every single night. When they will have every single night with you, when they will have you completely as their other half. Okay, like living together. Yes, they definitely maybe want to move in with you. Okay, they have this in their mind. Maybe it is just a fantasy yet, but they fantasize about touching you. They imagine kissing you. And I'm specifically getting the fixation around like, okay, like this desire for kissing you on your cheeks, on your neck, and like, yes, on your like the rest of your body. It's not just about one dramatic sexual fantasy. See, there is an intimacy to the way they imagine physical closeness. They want to get close enough to explore you slowly, to memorize reaction, to see what makes you laugh, what makes you blush, what makes you pull them closer. Your case specifically feels like a major obsession to this person. Yes, like this person is something they want to just, it's something like they continuously think about it. Okay, it's totally, I just said, isn't it, that this is a major obsession here. Like they wondered whether you would kiss them gently or aggressively, maybe whether you would tease them, whether you would pull away just when they think they are getting somewhere. Okay, like they imagine what it would feel like so much. And honestly, I think that uncertainty makes it worse for them because they don't completely know what you would do. The mystery is gasoline on this attraction. Like your little love is another huge trigger here. Okay, say yes. And there is something about the way you love that disarms them completely. They may act like annoyed about it. Maybe they, if, they may tease you about it, but internally that sound like stays with them, and like they can replay it or they replay it. They can remember the exact moment you laugh, and I think they secretly love seeing you genuinely amused because it gives them access to a version of you that isn't guarded, right? So that's precious to them, and they want to be the reason you laugh. Not because they need validation in some pathetic way, but because making you happy makes them feel strangely powerful and emotionally connected with you. And then we get this completely different side of them that, like, you're mine and I will prove it. See, your smile is something that makes them so internally get turned on, like that they maybe have multiple thoughts coming to their head, like they have thought multiple times like that, if I had a chance like to pull this person close to me, and if this person grant me to touch them, then yes, things definitely is going to be spiced up. Yes, they might be having a hard time controlling not to cross the line with you. Definitely it's going to be hard for them. And now, as you can see, beautiful, I want to handle this properly because this does not mean ownership, like you're mine, and like you might be end up feeling like that. Who are you to say that I am yours? I am mine. I am me. No one can have that ownership. Actually, it is not ownership. It means that possessive romantic instinct, or the kind where somebody starts feeling very strongly that they don't want to lose their place in your life. They may become territorial, they may notice who is around you, and they may become quieter when someone else gets your attention. They may suddenly become more demonstrative when they sense competition around them, and if they're normally reserved, this could actually surprise you because the person who was previously holding themselves like back may suddenly start making their intentions much more obvious to you, like they want you for themselves, they will want private time, they will want your attention all to themselves, and they will want those little rituals that belong only the two of you. Like there is a strong message of they want you all to themselves, isn't it? That's what I have been talking about. See, again, I'm not reading that as something unhealthy by default. See, I'm reading it as someone who wants exclusivity with you. They don't want to feel like one option among 10. They want to know that when you are with them, you're genuinely with them. They want their own place in your heart. And that is where I have got this like gonna wife you up one day. Why we have this here? See, literally like this message is becoming fascinating here because this person can be incredibly physical and incredibly playful, but underneath that is a surprising domestic fantasy going on in their head. They don't only imagine kissing you, they don't only imagine making out with you, they imagine keeping you. They imagine you as someone who belongs in their everyday life. They picture very, very minor, ordinary things like you sitting beside them, okay, being very casual and ordinary on your pajamas, on your loungewear, sitting on their sofa, being like home with at their home, okay, like they're saying something and you are like laughing stupidly. You complaining about something while they pretend not to listen. Like going somewhere together, meeting family, being introduced as their person, having routines, knowing each other's habits, and then suddenly the fantasy become bigger and then physical attraction. They start thinking about permanence. That's why this message have this wife you up one day. This feels less like a random flirtation and more like something they may jokingly say because the serious version scares them. See, they might disguise genuine intention as humor, like, "Oh, I'm going to marry you one day," and they would like laugh after that. And but then there is this that tiny silence afterward where both people realize that wait, they weren't completely joking. Okay, like you will end up like questioning that what did you just say? And that's a kind of moment I think is possible here because now I'm seeing here this person is actually have the energy of a secret crush, isn't it? Because this person has been hiding more than they have revealed. I don't necessarily think everyone around them knows. Maybe like deliberately they're keeping their interests private because they don't want other people interfering, commenting, teasing them, or asking questions before they are ready. There is something about protective about their secrecy, like see you are already this person's what wildest secret. Okay, yes. This is what I'm saying here, that you are this person's wildest secret, as you can see here. Right? And that phrase is intense because it suggests you occupy a private mental category for them. Okay, they can be completely normal around other people and still have an entire alternate reality involving you, like running in the background. Nobody knows what they're thinking. Nobody knows how often you cross their mind. Nobody knows how many scenarios they have imagined, like involving you. And that's why I wouldn't judge their feelings solely by how expressive they have been so far. Their internal world is much louder than their external behavior. And now is another message I really want to address, like, see, this person is definitely someone, okay, your disappointments definitely affect this person to a huge degree. So this person notices when you're disappointed. Even if you don't directly tell them, your mood might be matters to them a lot, then you know. If they believe they have let you down, it can genuinely bother them. They may become restless, they may replay the interaction, they may wonder whether you now see them differently. And I think this connected to their self sabotage, this energy. Okay, like they know they haven't handled like everything perfectly. They know there have been moments when they could have been more direct. They know that they have might be created in confusion, and some part of them worries that they have already damaged the chances with you. And that's why there is a desire to correct the situation. Not merely apologize and disappear, like correct it, show you, prove it. This person seems much more comfortable proving themselves through behavior than sitting down and delivering a perfectly articulated emotional confession. All right. So what's the actions here? Okay, what's the consistency? Like watch whether they begin making room for you. Watch whether the communication becomes clearer. Watch whether they stop creating unnecessary distance, because that is a real transformation. And then we have something like they have never imagined so much perfection from you. Okay, they have never did that. Now I don't interpret this as an literally believing you have no flaws. That's not realistic. This is more intimate than that. They have fallen in love with the combination, the face, attitude, little quirks, confidence, strength, vulnerability. They occasionally glimpse the way you respond to people, the way you carry yourself, the things you probably think are completely ordinary about yourself, and they see those details differently, entirely differently. And there is something about like this believing about their attraction, like how did I end up becoming disinterested in this person? Because they weren't necessarily respecting you. You may have been what they thought they wanted on paper, and then you appeared, and suddenly the checklist become irrelevant, and that happens. Sometimes the person who gets under your skin isn't the person you were planning to choose, isn't it? Like they are the person who makes the entire plan irrelevant. And you have clearly gotten under this person's skin, and I'm seeing here there are physical fantasies because they are not subtle, as you can see. They really want to do bad things with you. Okay. They imagine the tension finally breaking after all the restaurant. Okay. And they want to undress you, touch you everywhere, kiss you everywhere. And there's a strong desire to make a mess out of you. And yeah, I'm seeing here raw chemistry, the fantasy of you, the, yeah, okay, like losing the polished, controlled version of themselves, and finally allowing the attraction to become physical. They truly want to make a mess out of you, see? And their fantasies are way more wilder than I imagined. You are totally driving this person crazy here. Oh my goodness. Like there is this interesting psychological contradiction here. Like they want control and they want to lose control. They want to be the one initiating. Okay. But they also want you to surprise them. Like they want to feel powerful, but they also want you to make them feel, powerless because they admire your strength here, because that's why your personality matters so much to them, and you have this badass personality which has totally hooked this person to an extent where they know that they can't go back now. There is no chance. Okay. Yes, they're like aren't simply attracted to someone beautiful who sits quietly and waits. They're attracted to someone who can push back, isn't it? Someone who can challenge them, someone who can look them directly in the eyes and make them wonder who is actually in control here. And that is probably one of the biggest reasons the chemistry feels so intense here. Like neither of you are entirely predictable. Okay, and now I'm seeing here that this, as I told you, that this person is someone who literally wants to do bad things with you. This is the playful, provocative side of the connection, is the tension where innocent conversation can suddenly have a second meaning. Like a normal sentence becomes suggestive, a glance lasts a second too long, a joke suddenly isn't really a real joke anymore. They may intentionally test how you respond, and they will say something slightly outrageous and watch your face. Like if you laugh, they are encouraged. If you blush, they are finished. And if you challenge them, now you have made it 10 times worse. Because this person likes attention. They like the feeling that there is something underneath the conversation that neither person is acknowledging. And eventually, that becomes impossible to maintain. Something has to shift. The unexpected shift could be communication. It could be physical proximity. It could be an invitation, could be an admission. But I don't think this connection remains indefinitely trapped inside imagination because there is too much pressure building. And here is something else you need to know, that this is a part they may never admit, that they want to know whether you want them or not, want them too. This is what it's like, for like something that's moving in their head 24 by 7. For all their confidence, all their physical fantasies, all their your mind thoughts, they still need reassurance that they are not imagining the entire thing alone. They want to know that you are taking part in it. You are also a part of it. They're not the only one involved in it. They want a sign, want a look, want a response, want something from you that tells them you are not crazy, I feel this too. Because if they get that confirmation, I think their behavior changes dramatically. The restraint will drop, their hesitation will weaken, and the pursuit will become much more direct. And that's when I see, as we have got the sincere offer coming before, that's when things will become possible. It's becoming possible. Because this person isn't satisfied with fantasy forever. Eventually, they need clarity, reality. They need to know whether they can actually have a place beside you or not. And I think they're getting closer to asking that question to you. And now, the most beautiful part of this reading isn't even the sexual attraction, is the fact that they admire your strength. That's the piece I would pay attention to, because physical attraction can make someone stare. Chemistry can make someone fantasize, but admiration makes someone stay. All right. They look at you and see someone who has survived things, someone who has a backbone, someone who does not call up simply because life gets difficult. And I think there is a part of them that wants to become someone you can depend on. That may be why their family messes appear and don't only want access to your body, they want access to your life, want to know your world, they want to meet the people who shaped you. They want to understand the parts of you that aren't visible during flirting. And strangely, that makes the physical attraction even more intense because emotional intimacy gives the physical side somewhere to go. And this person wants both, like the wild version and the domestic version. And they want the late night kisses and the ordinary mornings. They want a teasing, want a serious conversation, want you dressed up, want you completely casual. They want a version of you everyone sees, the version you almost nobody gets. And that's why secret keeps coming through. They don't want this public access. They want intimacy. Okay? Private jokes, private touches, private language, feeling of this is ours, and honestly. That's a very different kind of attraction. Okay? And so if this person has previously pulled away, like gone silent, acted confusing, or made you question whether they actually cared, don't automatically excuse that behavior just because the attraction is strong. Okay? The attraction can be genuine and a person can still have emotional work to do. But both things can be true. If they want you, they need to demonstrate that desire through mature behavior. That's why the sincere offer matters more to me than the fantasy itself. The fantasy tells me what they want, the offer is telling me what they're willing to do, and those two completely different things. So if this person comes forward, don't just listen to how passionate they sound. Watch whether they're consistent, whether they respect your boundaries or not, whether they communicate openly or not, whether they make actual plans with you or not. Watch whether they make you feel secure rather than constantly guessing. Alright? Because you are not here to audition for somebody's affection, you are the prize. They need to know they can handle having you, and I think your strength is precisely what eventually forces them to rise to that standard. You don't have to chase, you don't have to convince, You don't have to seduce them into choosing you. You don't have to become smaller so they feel comfortable as well. Because your personality is literally part of what has them hooked. Your attitude is part of the attraction. Your independence is part of the attraction. Your strength is too. So don't dismantle the very qualities that made them notice you in the first place. And I have to tell you something else. This person may actually be more nervous about than you realize, because when somebody genuinely matters, suddenly rejection becomes real. So if they only wanted something casual, they wouldn't need to care what you thought of them. But this person wants you to admire them, respect them, desire them, choose them, and that's a much more vulnerable position. Underneath all that confidence, I see someone thinking, God, what if she doesn't want me the way I want her? That question may be one of the biggest reasons they have delayed. So if you're wondering why someone who seems so attracted can still hesitate, there it is. They care about the outcome they don't want to lose. And they don't want to expose themselves and discover that you don't feel the same. But something is changing. Because the old pattern of silence, hesitation, and self-worth is becoming harder for them to maintain. And attraction has accumulated curiosity, fantasy, admiration, all the things is like accumulated. And eventually, all that pressure needs somewhere to go. So that's why I keep getting this feeling of movement. Not necessarily some dramatic movie scene where they run through the rain screaming your name. More realistically, maybe a message, a conversation, could be invitation, sudden opening, strangely honest comment, like a joke that goes a little too far and accidentally reveals the truth, a moment where they stop pretending and you might actually catch them off guard, because I think their plan has already been to remain composed, but you were the problem because you will make them lose composure. You laugh, your confidence, your physical presence, your attitude, the way you don't seem impressed by anyone. The fact that you can look completely innocent the one moment and then give somebody a look that makes them forget what they were saying. That's the chemistry and that's the tension. Okay? And that's why this person keeps returning mentally even they're trying to move on. All right. So, my love, that is exactly I'm telling you what is go happening here. All right. All right. So your power is watching whether a person who wants you has a character to rise the level of what they're asking for. And that distinction will change everything. So let them come, let them speak, let them prove. Let them make the sincere offer. And when they finally do, don't just listen to the butterflies. Look at the behavior, because you deserve a person who can handle the heat they felt when they first noticed you and still have enough emotional maturity to build something beautiful after the fire settles down. Gonna light around you, beautiful. Keep your standards high, keep your heart discerning, and never confuse somebody's hunger for you with their ability to love you. Sign exactly as you are. I will see you in the next reading.